Do you you guys don't have satellite radio?
No.
Like I never.
Just when
I've had it
just
for
when we
years.
buy a car.
Right.
For a couple months.
What you do is you call when it's about to cancel. You just call them and say you want to cancel it, and they will bring it back down to the promotional rate. It's like $4 a month or something like that.
Well, when you buy a new car,
I was going to
think
say
it's free
it's
for
free.
like 3
Right.
months, right?
There's no rate. It's just free for
Yeah.
X amount of months.
Yeah. But I'm saying if you wanted to keep it after that time, you can get it for like down to like $4 or $5 a month.
Or I can get rid of it and not have it at all.
Yeah. Whatever you want. I'm just saying you don't have to pay the $17.99 or whatever the bullshit they try to get you. I mean, literally one time on the same call, they're like, "Oh, we can get you down to $11.99." So I'm like, "No, thank you. We'll get you down to $8.99." No, thank you. We can get you down to $4.99. Okay, fine.
You didn't try for one more? Like, $2.95.
Girl's like, sucker.
I felt bad. Yeah, right. It was
They're
3
both
times.
saying
like-
sucker on the other end.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a guy who thinks we should discuss the bonus situation and a claustrophobic astronaut. Martin, Brady, and Tom.
You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? The perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility.
Get away from her. You bitch!
This week, we finish up our horror month by going into space, where no one can hear you scream. That's right, we're talking about Alien. We revisit Ridley Scott's original masterpiece that blended sci-fi and horror in a way that had never been done before. Decades later, the franchise continues to evolve with Alien Romulus, the latest entry that promises to take the saga in thrilling new directions. It's been 36 years since this entered the zeitgeist, and it's still going strong. Will this franchise ever end?
I really don't think it will.
No,
I feel
I don't
like they're
think
going to
so.
keep making these movies. It's pretty wild ride how many they've done, and with the Alien versus Predators and all that stuff. So
Well, and like the majority of them aren't bad,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean,
They're all-
outside of Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll discuss
one of those
it
Alien
maybe.
versus Predator ones was. Really
Oh,
bad.
yeah, if you're going to throw the
That's-
Alien versus Predator ones in
I think
there.
the second one is the really bad one.
I went to the theater
second
and I was like,
Alien
"Why?"
versus
I
Predator?
can't remember what it's called, but yes, one of them was really bad. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They're all very different and they're all pretty good. They're all entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I watched before we even knew we were
not
you know,
formulated.
that we were going to watch the Alien movies this month. I watched 1, 2, and 3, the assembly cut.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had an idea of everything already,
Yeah.
which will actually play into Romulus
Yeah.
more than the original, because I kind of combined the first 3 Alien movies into what Romulus is. So.
Just a side tangent. Is Alien 3 the worst Fincher movie?
Some people might disagree, but I mean, it was early, right? So he didn't have probably as much creative control. That's why they have
It wasn't
to have
Fincher yet.
and an assembly cut that tries to make it more of what he wanted and tries to see just tries to expand on what that movie was. But yeah, maybe probably.
I didn't think
except
the
for
assembly cut was
except for
terrible.
Mank.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be my vote. I haven't
yeah.
seen Alien 3, but I'd be amazed if
Yeah.
it's worse than Mank.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I mean, the assembly cut, I didn't remember the original Alien 3.
Yeah.
But when I watched the assembly cut, I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
mean, she just ends up in a jail, essentially, on another planet, and there's an alien. Yeah. Yes.
So after watching both of these, I went back and watched just the trailer for Aliens, which is directed by James Cameron and very James Cameron.
It's so James
It's
Cameron.
so
Oh, yeah.
James Cameron. Like you're just watching, you're like, oh my gosh, like
I
hey,
rewatched Aliens as well.
let's
Yeah,
take
yeah.
the Terminator and just put it on another planet with aliens
Yep.
and throw Bill Paxton in there.
Always Bill Paxton. And we're on to Brady, who
I think you guys know.
Yeah.
So this was all my first Alien experience across the board.
Okay.
So wait, sorry. Technically, I have seen an Alien versus Predator. And I knew what the xenomorph looked like. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I was unaware of that. And I've seen Spaceballs, so I knew.
I just rewatched that, like the ending of Spaceballs. So yeah, I did. I don't think I realized that it's John Hurt.
Oh, I don't think
It's the same guy. They got him.
it's funny.
Yeah, it's the same actor that they got him for Spaceballs. Like I don't think I realized that.
I definitely
until-
wouldn't have
I
known
wouldn't
who
have
that
known that
was.
either,
Yeah,
yeah.
at that time.
I just know
Well, I
the,
mean, I was saying as a kid, yeah, I definitely didn't know. But then I was watching, I'm like, yeah, it's absolutely
That's
him.
funny.
the song and dance.
So
Yeah.
The song
I just
is-
remember
so that's
that.
what I
I remember.
remembered, and that's what I knew that it was like, from Alien. So I think I told you, I was like, I haven't seen the movie, but I do know things about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like,
So I mean, that's what I kept thinking too, because I saw Spaceballs first as well before I watched Alien, so I knew what was coming, But you got to imagine when was the movie out?
79.
People in the theater, and that thing busts through the chest. Like that had to be like a crazy moment. That's why I think this movie probably gets all the
Yeah, all
praise
of it,
that it
though,
does.
like,
You
even
think
the
all of it
face
is-
hugger, like
Oh,
the
yeah,
face hugger for sure.
first
That's great
coming
too.
out.
can we call it Face Raper?
I
Ask
mean,
for consent.
There's a lot of that's the thing about these movies. There's so many like face hugger. They never say that, right?
no,
Until
No,
maybe
I
the
think
later
so.
movies somewhere.
Yeah, maybe later, but
But there's all these things that like fans or whoever someone in some chat room decided to call it, or maybe Ridley Scott did. I don't know, but
Right,
like,
maybe it
and
had
they
a name
became the
behind
name.
the scenes
But like
and they never
Xenomorph,
said
they
it.
also don't call it that until Aliens.
Yeah.
they do in Aliens,
Maybe they needed a name, and
and they're like,
came
it's
up
a
with that.
Xenomorph, and I'm
well,
like,
right, because Aliens
where did that
takes
come?
place like 57 years later
Yeah.
or something like.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, what are your thoughts?
So sorry.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
So saying all that, knowing like I guess bits and pieces, but I still have my struggles with movies from the 70s and
Okay.
old movies. I thought it was fine. I definitely had a little bit of like, this is what all the fuss is about.
Right,
But
I could
That's
see
kind of
that.
what I'm.
I could see that.
I kind of agree with you is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if
But
you
I
try to
agree
put
with-
yourself in the
correct.
1979 aspect in the theater, not knowing anything about this movie, not seeing anything like this before, I could see where
I
getting there.
wholeheartedly agree with you.
But yeah.
I there is no doubt. I think this movie. That's definitely why it spawned this legacy of other movies, and the fans are there. The people
Yeah.
that loved it, and this sci-fi horror genre that was kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading like kind of some of the lasting impacts from that that this movie had, and that was one of it, right? Like there was horror before, and Halloween I think came out around a similar time
Yeah, it
frame.
was like a year before, I think.
78 or
Yeah.
earlier,
and
79.
but like in the sci-fi movies were like Star
Yeah.
Wars, like
Yeah.
it was a more of like or idealized like place to be, as opposed to like a terrifying
yeah.
place to be.
Yeah.
The tagline that we said, like in space, no one can hear you scream. Like, I mean, they leaned into that, and I think created, the Toms of the world were in love with that idea.
Yeah. Do you geek out on all of this stuff though? On the Prometheus and the Alien
See,
Covenant?
not as much. Like I've enjoyed the Alien series.
Do you think it's
but
too
I-
sci-fi as opposed to horror?
a little bit, and
See,
I
want
don't
more sci-fi.
I don't dislike sci-fi at all. I like Star Wars and all the the other stuff, but I just it wasn't horror enough for me, I guess. And obviously, like you said, I didn't see it in 1979. But I feel like it was the late 80s, maybe early 90s when I saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
10 years old or something like that. 8 to 10. And yeah, it creeps you out when you don't know like that chest burster scene is coming, and like all of a sudden he just starts to convulse, and like when the alien's just hiding in the shadows behind, you can see it, but the people can't see it, like swinging
that's
behind.
the other great
Yeah.
scene. I think
Yeah.
those are the two. I mean, the chest burster for sure, and then when he's just back there,
Like
and,
laying on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
I
Well,
thought
that was
think
at the end. There was
Tom's
the
talking
end.
about when
Oh.
Harry Dean Stanton's in the ship
Yeah,
and it's
looking
just
for the cat.
swinging.
Oh yeah, that
above
was
him.
cool too.
yeah,
they just
okay.
like show the chains and kind of the
Yeah.
rain falling down, and like the xenomorph is like one of the things that's like
Yeah.
swinging up there.
And it's very. I tried to pause on that when it first kills Harry Dean Stanton, like to see it's just so quick. You don't, and it's so close up that you don't really see much. Like
Right.
it's really
There isn't a ton of blood, right? We
Right.
see
not a lot of gore, and you don't really see the alien that much.
No.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Until the end. Until the
Yeah.
end, then you see, and you're like, oh, it
It's
does kind of
only
look
in
like
it,
a man.
like I think it said like 4.5 minutes or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of things, it's not.
And most of it's close up of the teeth, with
right. Yeah.
with all
Yeah.
wet. What was
Yeah.
the Dane Cook?
Rub it down with Vaseline.
The whole movie.
That's that's the Dane Cook that we became fans of.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was his first like his special or whatever, and he just throws water on himself. He goes, "I want to be like the alien, like all wet."
Everything in this movie was wet. It was.
Yeah.
One of my questions was, Harry Dean Stanton, why are you just like drinking the rain that's falling in this ship? Like that can't
Yeah,
be.
was it? It's not
good.
rain.
It's got to
Right,
be
yeah.
like condensation off
they're
the
in a
pipes
space-
and
yeah.
stuff. Like
You're in
not-
confined space in space.
Right, like it's got to be gross. It's not
Some
good for
kind
you.
of dirty, heavy water.
He was behaving as if he was, tasting water for the first time in like
Right.
a year. And
I love
it's-
Harry Dean
It's
Stanton.
I mean, let's be honest. He doesn't seem like the healthiest guy in the world anyway. So
true. Ripping heaters in that ship
Yeah.
too.
All of them are ripping heaters.
Well,
left
it
and
was a
right.
different time.
yeah.
I will tell you, I'm like watching this movie, and I mean, I knew Sigourney Weaver was in it. I think she's famously Ripley, and a lot of people know that. Believe it or not,
Wait, she was in Ghostbusters also?
Maybe because of Ridley Scott, believe it or not. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true.
no, it actually was from Ripley's. Believe it or not, they were coming up with different names, and they liked the name.
Oh, really? I thought it might have been because of Ridley Scott. It's like, we'll just change the D to a B.
I think they even said like the other ones, like Parker and Brett, were
Parker
George
Brothers?
Brett, Dave
Oh.
Parker, like just literally like they were taking names relative to like pop culture essentially.
Dallas, he was from Cleveland though.
So Dallas. So I'm watching and I was like, oh my God. I audibly could tell who Dallas was because the voice isn't terribly different. But I mean, I've never seen Tom Skerritt young.
Young Tom
Oh,
Skerritt.
I mean, he looks the same. You think he looked that different?
Yeah, he looked young and like I've never seen him not old.
Oh,
like
okay.
a
Oh,
younger
that's
Kenny
fair.
Rogers.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
I literally
guess I've
paused it and
seen
I was
him.
like, who do you think that is to marry? And she's like, I don't know. And then I played it and she's
Oh,
like,
see, that's
oh,
so
I know
weird.
who. Yeah.
That's a weird, because I was just like, yeah, immediately you look at him, I'm like, Tom Skerritt.
Oh, I don't think the look is there. I think the sound is, his voice is
Okay.
unmistakable.
I hear you.
He's
Yeah.
he's 91 years old.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen him prior to 70.
He was born in 1933, so what?
Oh
he
my
was
God.
46 in this movie, right?
I can't do math.
That feels right. That math feels
79?
correct.
Yeah, I looked at.
I mean,
like,
he was in Top Gun only 7 years later.
He looks older.
He looks a lot that much older. See, that's on to me. I
You
don't
look
know
him
what
up
he
in
does.
in Top Gun and tell me he doesn't look like he does. He looks closer to what he does in 90 than he does 40.
All right, fair enough.
because I didn't
Maybe it's just
remember.
the mustache
Yeah, maybe said he had a full beard and went
and
down
the
to
long
mustache.
hair too.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
all
that
right.
was where it's at.
he's not clean cut like this one in Top Gun.
Seriously, I do think 7 years. I think he aged 20.
Wilford Brimley, just always old, right?
Oh,
But yeah, having Tom Skerritt in here, Sigourney Weaver, obviously, you get a Harry Dean Stanton, who many people may not like recognize or know what his like IMDb credits are, but when you see him, you're like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
Harry Dean Stanton. Yaphet
Repo
Kotto.
Man.
And
What
then
else is he in?
Yaphet Kotto?
I was
Yeah.
just going to
So
ask.
he was in-
Is in other things?
He was in James Bond. He's in the one with Jane Seymour, I believe.
That doesn't help me. Her Majesty's Secret Service?
No.
Live and Let Die?
Yes. Live and Let Die. And then he was also on Homicide.
The Guns N' Roses music video?
I know him from Homicide mostly.
Life on the Streets?
Life on the Streets with our man Andre Braugher.
R.I.P. Never saw that show at all, but I do know about it.
Oh,
Oh,
So
he
good.
was in The
And I've heard
Running
it's
Man.
awesome.
That's what I know him from.
Who?
He was Yaphet Kotto. Was
Really?
in The Running Man. He was one of the other like prisoners. Yeah.
Runners.
Runners.
One
they're,
of the other-
they're remaking that too.
One of the
right?
other running men.
and Midnight Run as well.
did
Do we
they
know-
remake that like 100 times? Isn't it the Hunger Games and Battle Royale and it's all the
Insurgent
same, right?
Running
With
Man?
The Running Man, yeah.
or
they-
Divergent.
They're put
the
into
Maze
a
Runner.
thing and
Maze
they gotta
Runner?
kill everybody and be the last one standing.
They're going closer
Race.
to
Yes.
they're remake like it's a Stephen
Rollerball,
King
maybe.
book. Or Richard Bachman book, but his pen. What
Yeah,
do you
pen
call
name.
it? Pseudonym?
Pen
No,
name.
Pen name. Yeah. But yeah, they're going closer to the book, I guess.
And
But
Edgar
yes, like you
Wright's
said,
doing
it's
it,
good.
right?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Of the plane.
This is Running Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know who's in it without me looking it up?
No,
No.
not yet.
Like I said,
Glenn Powell. Ew. Josh Brolin.
you're right, Tom. It was more sci-fi than it was scary, in my opinion.
I mean, it had tension and
Yes, it had
suspense
tension.
and
If
everything.
you're calling
and,
it a
like,
thriller.
A sci-fi horror. It is
Yeah.
more sci-fi than horror, I
For
would
sure.
say, for sure. But it does have a ton of horror elements
Yes.
that I
Yeah.
feel like we've
The
watched and
darkness
seen.
and-
You have like a stalking predator.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to use that term loosely as its
Versus?
arch nemesis, but yeah, I mean, I felt like it qualified in that regard.
Yeah.
There was a degree. I will tell you, as someone who hadn't seen it, there was a degree of like, for me, like, why are we watching this? Like, it's for our horror month. Like,
Right.
I didn't know necessarily to think of it. Like,
And I hadn't seen Romulus before this. Obviously, it's new, but I'd heard that it was more in the horror element, and I didn't think it really was.
Yeah, I don't think
I was
so either.
disappointed in that aspect of it because it was because of the director.
Yeah.
Fede
Fede,
Alvarez.
is that how you say it? Yeah.
Although, I mean, yeah, Don't Breathe and
Right. He's kind of
10
more
Cloverfield
known.
Lane.
was he
Right?
10? No, he was the Evil Dead remake.
Oh,
in
Evil Dead, yes,
2013,
you're right.
Yeah,
which
so he's
is
known for
brutal.
horror. So I
Like-
thought they said that this was more in line with that, but
apparently, an obsessive about the Alien franchise. Like, he
Yeah.
absolutely loves it.
Which, I mean, you could tell
see
in
that.
the movie, like, all of the computer systems and stuff, it didn't, like, jump forward to, like, fancy touchscreens and stuff
Yeah.
and things like that. It's 20 years after Alien is when it's, the time frame is. So, the technology is still buttons,
I mean, I know
guess,
you
and-
mentioned earlier that it was like a collection of like the first three movies.
Yeah.
I definitely, there was a degree I was like, this feels like a reimagining of just the first movie. I
Well-
was watching it and I was like, well, this is,
Well, that's all of them kind of do that. Like Aliens kind of does that. They all have like similar elements to it, right? Like
Right,
it
I mean-
picks them off one by one, and then
Yeah.
there's a face off, and then there's
Yeah.
sometimes an airlock's involved, or usually an airlock's involved.
Right. There's a face hugger that has to get some
There's-
people.
So that's what I'm
and-
saying. There's some formula to it, but everyone's put their own spin on it too.
Yeah.
Like you said, James Cameron definitely put his own spin on it. And Aliens is
which is
you know,
more
pretty
action
fantastic.
than
Yeah, it's definitely
horror,
more action.
So it's sci-fi action.
You got-
essentially
you got the army guys in there, so-
right.
The
yeah,
Space
they're
Marines.
setting
Space
up
Marines,
turrets
yeah.
and stuff outside the doors, which is kind of like in Romulus. You get at first like the first 3/4 of the movie or half the movie. It's just the one alien kind of that gets the one the pilot of the ship, right?
Yeah.
And they're
face
looking for
raper?
that. Yeah, the face raper.
It
And
was
then
a little slow going
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
And
I
then
feel
you get
like
further in.
Romulus. Like I feel like it took a while to get going.
here's the thing.
But because it's new, you liked
It's
it.
newer, and so it looks better. And
Yeah.
so I'm essentially kind of feels like I'm watching a reimagined version of the same movie.
yeah.
And it looked better because it felt like it was
Right.
a newer version when I was like, all right, well, this looks cooler.
Right. It was shot better on better
Yeah.
quality stuff. The sets were built better, but it still maintained that feel of the old technology that the original one had because that's what they had in '79. You
Right.
know, and I did see that Fede Alvarez did that obviously on purpose because it was supposed to follow the first one, but also because these like planets that are just like mining companies or whatever have no money or anything, whereas like in Prometheus and Alien Covenant, like those are the rich people. They
Yeah.
have the fancy touch screens and stuff like that, whereas these people that are mining these planets.
Yeah, there's a flaw. Like this rambunctious crew has access to just a spaceship. to
Yeah,
They
right.
could just
That's
take
right.
off willy nilly,
It's just
like
sitting
no
there,
clearance, no
feels,
nothing.
Right, feels like you can't. You don't get to go to this other world that we thought we were gonna. You got to keep working. They're like, well, we're just gonna fly up to space.
right.
Like what was I mean, I understand like they didn't have the cryogenic capabilities on the ship to get them to the fancy beach planet.
Right.
So that's why they were going out
Travago?
there. But it's like I feel like in this
Iago?
universe there's got to be somewhere else
Iago?
they could go. Just get on this ship and go.
Right.
Right? If it was that bad.
And it's only 9 years. You can just hang out for 9 years.
Probably.
My question is more towards the sci-fi aspects of it, but like, when do we think we're going to get to that level of space travel? 1,000 years? 2,000 years?
Elon's trying. If only he could get, a president who cared.
Just like
this level. It's a good question. I want to say
70s
less than
technology, but the
less than
ability
1,000
to
years.
travel.
just to be able to go as far as
Yeah.
they said that they were going, and then like the ships that they were in were gigantic, right?
Yeah.
For like a crew
yeah.
of 7.
Take no effort to like lift off,
Right.
And, like that, like any other rocket ship would blow all of those like encampments out of the water,
Right.
taking off.
Exactly.
And then one guy's just like sitting there. I don't know if he was eating or having a cigarette or something, just watching the ship take off. Like it happens every day.
I think if we really, as a planet, decided that we wanted to, we could do it a lot faster than that. But yeah, you're probably closer to right that it would be 1,000 years, because we're just all still worried about what's going on here. But if
Yeah.
we really made
Weapons
it
for
a focus to expand out, we could do it. We could do it fast.
Yeah. My other notes were, so, all right. Is the alien just a mindless predator?
No, I think they're smart.
Mindless? No.
No.
Yeah, I think they're
Okay.
intelligent.
It's got a big mind. I don't know if you saw the big brain on these things.
So here was my question then, is like, if you have some intelligence and obviously it knew what it was trying to do, like, why would it attack the way that it did? Like, why would it even like do frontal? Why wouldn't it just like sneak attack everybody?
Yeah, because then
That's-
you wouldn't have a movie.
That's the flaw. Yeah, that's the movie. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, like if you watch, I haven't seen them in forever, but like the Alien versus Predators, like they're going against a predator, and a lot of these people wouldn't survive this long. Like
Right.
definitely, Sigourney
Oh.
Weaver would have been dead.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see
Right
what
away.
I have that for my note there. Everyone would die on this ship.
Well, right, like, and what was it doing? Sleeping
Right.
while she was putting on. Like I don't remember that part at the end where she's like she sees him.
It's laying
right?
up in
It's
the-
laying there.
Oh, that's
And
why I was
then-
like, it's
and
on
then
the
she's
shelf.
putting-
Yeah,
she has
right.
time to put on the suit, do everything, get the gun.
Yeah.
This thing's just hanging out there. No,
He's
yeah,
like
it would-
in the pipes and the wiring on the side.
I mean, it
and
made
he's
for- again, it
stuck.
was
Like, first of
tension.
all, also, how did he get there?
he
He just walked in and he's like, "Oh shit, I need to hide. She's coming."
There's a
and
big
he's just
open,
like, "Here's a
empty
spot."
shelf
right.
where I blend in perfectly.
Yeah,
Where I look like wiring.
right. But
That's-
then he's stuck.
Yeah. And then he's stuck until the cold air hits him, and then he's like, oh, I got to get out of here.
He's like, "Ooh,
But
cold."
I guess to answer your question, in the first one, I don't know how intelligent we were supposed to believe they were, but they definitely made them more intelligent in the other movie,
Yeah.
in some of the other movies.
I just feel like if you have a race that's able to like travel through space and survive and things like that, like I feel like Predator's a little bit more, in my eyes, realistic, because it's like this
Love it.
super intelligent race of beings is like, oh, these humans are just sport. Like I'm gonna hunt them down.
well,
That's
I
why
don't know-
we really should have probably watched more of these movies, because if you watch Prometheus, have you seen Prometheus?
I have seen
Oh yeah,
Prometheus.
so you know, there's
And weirdly, I actually think I might have seen Prometheus, despite
It's-
not knowing what the fuck
it's
I was
It's
really
newer,
good.
so
I think
it
it's
seems
my
up your alley.
favorite one.
Yeah, Fassbender and Charlize and
when
I mean,
she
it can't be
runs
my
straight
favorite one, but-
away from the falling ship, right?
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of just like turning to the left or
And
right.
it's the same looking ship that they see.
That
in
they
this
see
one.
in the
and
beginning.
that's the
I
point.
love all that prequel. They did a really good job with Prometheus, and they talk about in Romulus as well. You know, they bring up that the goo,
Yeah,
or whatever
they
you
find
call
it
it,
in
the
the
black
thing, and that's-
oil
yeah.
goo, and that's what they call them, the engineers or whatever, the people that made
Prometheus is the-
Prometheus.
chronologically the first movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the
So-
breakdown of.
But
So-
do
so
the
yes, there's some-
aliens like did the xenomorphs and stuff fly their own ships and stuff? Because they're not that intelligent, right? 'Cause
No,
these
I don't-
other beings have found the facehugger eggs and brought them amongst them, right?
The
Like-
engineers
yeah,
or
the
whatever, right?
engineers,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I asked if you geek out on this stuff, because I feel like I've watched videos on Prometheus
Yeah.
and tried
Well, I
tried
might
to
now.
figure out exactly. They're like, is the xenomorph the perfect organism, or some of these other ones just like proto organisms that are in Prometheus or Alien Covenant, and are each the same? Is the queen concept that aliens that James Cameron brought into Aliens, is that like part of the lore or not? Because you don't see a queen really in any
No,
other
you
one,
only that
but the
one.
queen is kind of awesome.
don't you see it in Resurrection?
I don't
I
don't
don't know.
remember.
I haven't watched
watched
Resurrection
it.
in a
I think
while.
there's
That's why I'm
There's
asking you,
one
like,
Resurrection.
if there's somebody that knows all the answers
the
to these
Winona
questions.
Ryder one,
Well,
right?
somebody knows.
Somebody knows,
Yeah.
but I mean that's what I'm saying. And they do a good job of making all this lore, and they don't really answer all of the questions. There's geeks that want the answers to these questions, and they don't have them because it's more fun to kind of just leave it open ended or make you kind of guess.
Well, so that was one of the notes I kind of saw, and I kind of touched on this a little bit ago, that Romulus, that director, kind of said that there's something from all the movies, like and the video game. Like if you are a guy or a girl or whoever, a person is involved, like is into this world.
Yeah,
there are Easter eggs all over for you.
Yep.
And if you're looking, obviously I don't know what the hell I'm looking for, so I'm just watching kind of blindly, which I'm completely fine with. But I think it would be cool if you were really into all 8-9 movies to see someone like this director who does care a lot about that and caring about, like, if you're into the franchise, you're going to love this movie because the movie's, I think, is actually good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot,
I enjoyed it.
actually.
And on top of that, you get to have all of these Easter eggs from this world and
but
all
it
these,
is kind
the
of
time you put in.
My only, like, I agree with you that makes it good for what it is, but I thought it was going to be more, instead of making it like fan service to everybody who's watched all these movies and putting in all these little things, I wanted just its own unique story. You know, like, this is my complaint. We talked about this with Beetlejuice, right? Instead of just having its own plot, they have to put in all this stuff that fans are going to be like, oh, look at that. It appeases people.
Yeah.
But different enough.
But I still appreciate that Fede had, that he tried, that he's a fan, that it's not just someone doing it for
new
to
hot
play lip
director.
service.
They're just like, oh, you get to do this now. It's like, no, somebody who cared a lot.
Yeah, and it made for a good movie, but it's not great. Like, that's why I think what Prometheus, because it was Ridley Scott directed, and he gave us so much more of what his original vision was, as opposed to someone like Cameron or Fincher coming in and doing something different. That's why I think that one's cool as a prequel, and it works really well. But yeah, I enjoyed Romulus.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And I have questions. Like, I want to be like, what is this? What is the Romulus station? Romulus and Remus. And
no idea.
Are they going to make sequels now? With
It seemed because
I think this director is going to make another one based off what I was reading.
It seems like he's setting it up for that. And like, what the hell? Why did the end creature look like?
He's
like the engineer.
He's that 7-foot
hybrid.
basketball player guy,
Right?
Yeah. And like, what is that? The new
That's
Xenomorph?
the hybrid.
Yeah.
That's the hybrid of what though? Like,
It was the human alien hybrid.
baby. Yeah,
But she injected
Like the
herself,
Predator
so I thought it was going to be.
alien
I mean,
hybrid.
It's the Blade scenario, right? Like,
Is that-
Blade's
which
mom
one?
got bit
right.
by the vampire, and now he's the Daywalker.
Right
before she was about to give birth, and so this scenario, she injected herself with the stuff right before she was supposed to give birth, and now she gave birth to a giant hybrid alien.
Yeah, but shouldn't it have worked on her too?
right. I thought she
'Cause
was going to heal.
Those injection things were all for everybody, like just humans,
right.
Yeah.
to make them evolve.
And
really
But
quick.
the other girl said, she's
Black
like, I
goo.
don't trust this.
Right.
and they showed the rat exploding.
So there was
Right.
actually
After,
an after effect negative that they were glossing
So
past
do you
that.
think
But it
it
worked-
was?
Only worked for the baby.
Well,
Because
I was
she
going to say,
pregnant?
do you think it worked? It healed her enough to let her give birth to the baby, and then killed her.
Maybe because they did say that the face hugger didn't attack her because she was weak, right? Or was that the other guy? Because there was one time they said the face hugger's not going after him because he's not breathing well enough, and they wouldn't be able
because there's
to. He
no
would just die.
viability of
right
like,
for there.
of,
So
Got it.
Yeah,
of raping.
face raping.
I mean, by the way, the scene of them pulling it off.
oh yeah, in
pretty-
Romulus.
Yeah, was pretty unbelievable. Like, unbelievable.
Well, I watched the I don't know if you watch the Honest trailers that I can't remember what YouTube channel
I
does.
think I have seen them before, but not for this one.
But I watched this one yesterday, I think, and they when they showed that scene of them pulling the face art, they blurred the whole thing.
Oh,
in the
really?
middle. I was like, well, just because it was funnier, blurred. I was like,
'Cause
oh
it
yeah,
looks
this,
like-
yeah. Well, that too,
You're
and
not supposed to see it.
after they find the alien egg sac on the wall, and the guy prods it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a vagina. That
For
that's,
sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and now he's just jamming this
Yeah.
pole into it.
No, that was definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know, Geiger, when they,
H.R. Geiger.
yeah, they used him for the first one for all the designs.
Yeah,
All
just
of
alien
his
design.
designs are very sexual and
Yeah.
alien
Did
that.
he-
But
Did he design Species? Or
of the
did they?
movies.
I don't know.
I don't know. They probably.
I don't believe so.
They
I
probably
did see
ripped
some
that
stuff
off.
he did.
I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
say
say.
somebody might have like took his like inspiration
his.
for it.
Yeah.
Because that was another alien hybrid, alien human hybrid.
Yes.
I did like I said I like the newer one. I really talk about a movie where there was a 0% survival rate on that ship.
Oh.
Oh my god!
Well-
None of them should have.
The pregnant girl should have died like 9 times. Like she felt like she was fighting the alien. I wrote it like all these down.
She fell down the shaft.
She fell down and like hit
Dead.
her head,
Yeah.
like, and then landed down. And she's like, "Oh, I'm good." And then she gets up. The alien's right behind her and
Dead.
like stabs her through the back and
Yeah.
takes her away. It's like, all right. So when she had like the alien baby, I was like, "Oh, is the goo gonna like put her back together now?" And she's gonna be like, "Hey guys,
I'm good.
yeah, she should have died like 5 times."
The dodging acid in Zero Gravity.
Yes.
That was a little much, right?
Loved it.
You loved it. Okay.
Loved it.
I loved and I watched it with Colin, with my
Of
13-year-old son. And
Watch
he liked
them.
it too.
Watch
And
them
I
birth an alien.
I asked him, without. He's like, acid death. 10 out of 10. You know,
Oh, that one was awesome.
It was so cool,
Oh, when
right?
it's eating through
when
his
it's
arms.
just eating through his hand.
Oh,
He
yeah,
loved
that
that
was a good
part,
one. Yeah.
and he liked the acid spin, and yeah, rightly so. Like that, if I had seen that at 13, I would have thought that was awesome.
So
I got it.
the guy who got the acid through his whole body, didn't he also freeze his fingers off too? When they were doing when they were getting the cells out,
Oh, he did freeze his
he
fingers.
froze
I
his.
don't know about off.
Knock off.
Oh, I
but
thought they were
yeah.
frozen. I thought they were like frozen off.
Yeah.
No, I think they were just trying to show that
He ran the gamut of
But right, just hitting all of it.
extremity exposure.
Right.
This is I don't not a technicality per se, but a general question. Why not raise the temperature of the room or hallway to more than 98.6?
Exactly. Exactly.
Why get to that number and be like, we're good?
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't go up to 100?
105.
just blind them completely.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
And then you just stroll on through.
Yeah.
Just
Then
be
you
quiet.
can elevate your heart rate. You can get
Wouldn't
worked
matter.
up.
Yeah. They waited long enough for it to get up there. It's like, you
glad
couldn't
you
wait a
were
little
on
bit
it, 'cause
more?
I
So
was
isn't that a temperature variance then? Because we're 98.6 and if it was
But
105.
if they can see heat, they're not going to see anything colder than the
'Cause
hottest temperature.
The issue
Right.
was
No.
that when
Right?
you got
I think
when
they
you
would.
got nervous,
I don't think
It's
so.
like the Predator. It sees the variation.
the issue wasn't that they didn't. I don't believe they said a variance.
Oh.
Because they said the worst thing you can do is if you get like your heart rate starts going, your temperature will increase, which will cause it to see you. I don't think it was because it was a variance. I think it was because it's higher again.
Okay.
So if you were just made it hotter, you would have the ability to get nervous
This is for the face
and
face
anxious.
huggers, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the
There's
face
a lot of face huggers.
The face huggers
God.
are fast.
yeah.
Real fast.
They would have
But they-
caught
but they're
all of
blind.
them.
All of them.
All of them would have been
Like
caught.
I said, 0% survival rate on that ship.
But they were
Even the
throwing.
android.
They were throwing the flares. Throwing them off.
Liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah. I had a problem with Andy the android too.
Yeah.
Did not. I don't like.
You guys don't watch the show Industry, right? He was in
No.
season
Oh, is he
1 of
from
it.
Industry?
Yeah, he was in season 1 of that. That's where I know him from.
He's I kind of felt like it played. That didn't necessarily bother me.
It played, but it was also. All right. So, first of all, it's a decommissioned android, right? So, why. I don't know why they made him like simple or like less
Well,
intelligent.
I think it was just programmed to tell dad jokes like her dad used to, but yeah, I guess you're right. He didn't
All right,
have
like-
to be.
Well, they said her dad made it. That's why he had one directive was to essentially take care of her.
Take care of
Right.
her, right? And then he gets the upgrade, and then becomes like super sentient and super strong or whatever. And then just the whole like, ooh, the magical black character that has to save the white girl. I was just like, all right, I've seen this done before. I've
There are
seen
a lot
it
of
done
magical black characters that are saving white girls.
Bagger Vance.
the Green Mile.
Were you going Bagger Vance when you thought of that?
I was there's
it's
literally
a thing. Yeah.
yeah, there's
It's a
literally a
known
movie
thing.
called The Society of the Magical Negro with David Allen Greer, and it's all about all this trope
Yeah.
throughout Hollywood.
It's a trope throughout. Yeah, it's been that way for
Battleship?
years.
I just remember the guy with no legs. The black guy with the no legs.
Johnny,
when
do you
they were
remember
climbing.
I mean, Brady and I saw that on a sneak peek.
Oh my god! I watch it every time it's on TV. It's so
Battleship?
good.
Never seen it.
It's so good.
Yes, I do remember the guy with the big guy.
Yeah.
He had the metal prosthetics.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I can't. Do you know the actor? I can't remember the actor at all.
I can't remember
I don't
that.
know that he
I
was
just
in anything
remember
else.
that
But the
Rihanna
girl,
and Taylor Kitsch were in
Rihanna,
it.
Taylor Kitsch,
Landry.
Skarsgård,
Skarsgård,
Liam
Neeson.
Meth Damon.
That's a really good Meth Damon. Who's that?
Um,
I do know who you're talking about.
Jesse Plemons.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. That's what
You've never heard that?
Landry
I haven't.
Park, I have heard that. Yeah.
When he was on the episode of Breaking
And
Bad.
Brooklyn Decker. Wasn't
And
Brooklyn
Decker.
So
Brooklyn
yeah.
Decker
Oh no, she was the girlfriend.
She
yeah,
was the girlfriend on the island.
on the island.
was she the one with
She was
the
with...
black guy with the no legs running up the mountain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
They were running together.
Yeah, Jill, literally, I had I still get them like an invite for like a screening. So Jelani and I went, and we
Nice.
we were like the last two in, I think.
Yeah. We're like, what
This
was
movie
that?
rules.
And then it was, I mean,
Oh,
I was like,
so
you want to go
much
see
fun.
Battleship? He's like, all right. There's a lot of people in it.
But yeah, so you had problems with but what about that I was trying to figure out what did you like that they used Ian Holm for his name was
So,
Rook, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
the same character.
So again, from my perspective,
yeah, from your perspective, yeah.
wondering like, so were they all this guy? Like that's where I'm like,
There's
literally-
more than
just
one
like the
of
Terminator,
that android, right?
Like
Yeah.
they just modeled them after
I
someone. And
know,
bunch,
but for
yeah.
me, only seeing two
Oh.
movies, and
Like-
they're,
like
they're the
Attack of the
same
Clones?
looking person.
No,
I was
they're
like,
not.
oh, so all these science officers are.
Well, so like in
Ian Holm.
Aliens, it's
In
Lance
Aliens,
Hendrickson,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I
And-
didn't see the movie.
I know.
That's the thing.
Hence
because
my question.
I know. That's why I'm
so they're
telling
not
you.
all the
Because
same.
in Aliens, Lance Hendrickson is the android,
yeah.
and
he
Sigourney
says-
Weaver like flips out because she's like, I don't want any
Is that the
synthetics.
tight end for the Bengals?
No, that's defensive end. Trey Hendrickson.
Defensive end. Sorry, it's his uncle.
But in
Ooh, he's
in
looking
Alien
good these
versus
days, too.
Predator,
Yeah,
Lance
Does he come back?
Henderson plays
No D.
Henrik.
Hendrickson.
Heinrich.
He plays
Pumpkinhead.
Whalen. Or he plays Charles Bishop Whalen.
He was in Near Dark.
So,
yeah, so
Catherine
they made
Bigelow's.
the android.
so they made the
in his
android
image.
based on the image of the founder of the company.
Okay,
So that's another like rabbit
that's
hole.
played
Easter.
by what's his name in Prometheus or in Alien Covenant? Isn't it Guy Pearce?
Guy Pearce is,
yeah.
but he's like Peter Whalen. So I don't know.
Oh,
maybe
maybe.
that's
Maybe
his
it's his
son.
son.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there's all this.
There's
Somebody
threads.
knows.
There's
Yeah,
threads.
there's threads.
There's a YouTube
There's Pepe
video
Sylvia
that you can
that-
watch.
You're talking about
It's
Westworld?
22 minutes long.
Right.
with Ed
Shows
Harris.
everything.
Yeah, creating it after the creator of the company.
Yeah.
But yeah, they bring back that like you're saying that's an Easter egg, right? It's like
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's
Well, and I
it's
didn't.
Ash.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
like that.
remember that.
Don't
Ash
roll up
was
the
the name.
magazine, Ash. I forgot about that.
Oh my
scene
god!
completely.
I was like, wait,
What
can
was
you
he
really
doing with
like
that?
strangle someone by shoving a magazine in their mouth?
Maybe an android can.
Weird.
They're like he's malfunctioning. Like, yeah, no shit.
It's like H.R. Geiger was like, not enough sexuality in here. Jam a fucking magazine in her mouth
Very
over and
weird.
over again.
Very
But couldn't
weird.
she knock it
Right,
out?
or
Right.
not open your mouth.
No, just like
Please don't do that. I'm gonna
Keep
turn
your
my
mouth closed.
I'm
Like
gonna not.
magazine?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was definitely the weirdest part of the movie. But
No,
outside
that
of
wasn't
that,
the weirdest.
yeah, outside of that, it was a great scene when he knocks his head off.
Yeah.
I think all that
Yeah.
was very cool looking.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's very
what's the weirdest of Alien?
The bad
You're talking
special
about?
effects when they like are
Yes.
wiggling his head
Yeah.
and then like it cuts and it's like, oh, well,
All of a
now
sudden
it's his
he's
real
popping
head.
out, popping
Yeah.
through the desk. Yeah.
The early '80s gratuitous, partially nude scene when she's taking her clothes off and she's got the underwear on, like
She's wearing awfully small underwear. For
Yeah,
her.
it was 3 sizes too small,
I'm like,
and it's like pull it up a little bit.
there's nothing to pull.
right?
It was a 70s
nowhere
style.
to go.
No. It's like, what? Why? Why did you need that? I know why you wanted it, but not you. Why did you need
Yeah.
it?
I'm okay with it. We already said Brady doesn't like Sigourney Weaver.
Nah, I'm
Yeah,
not a fan
no.
either.
Not a huge fan.
There is no Dana, only Zool.
It was
Betsy
what,
did something for me.
what I what I read was it was down to her or Meryl Streep,
Oh,
and Meryl Streep was mourning the loss of like her lover or husband.
Someone.
It's a dude. Who's the guy who's in all the best movies? John Gonzalez?
Cassavetes?
Cassavetes, him. Yeah, because that was Meryl Streep's like boyfriend,
No, I didn't. know.
and when he died, she was that was during like when they were casting this, and they ultimately went with Sigourney Weaver as a result. Who they were like friends, so
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Fun fact.
But yeah, so then I guess
this was her first big movie, right? Or was she in other
Sigourney's.
stuff before? Yeah,
Big movie, yeah. And also did put Ridley on the map, right?
I
I looked at. He doesn't
think
have
so.
a lot like that I've heard of.
was he did
prior
Blade
to that.
Runner in 81 or so.
The Duelists was the only movie prior to this.
82 was Blade Runner.
yeah.
And so,
I mean, talk about having he's definitely had the biggest influence on sci-fi
real-
of any director. I think
real quick.
between Blade Runner and
maybe we've done this, but
Yeah.
let's do a IMDb known for
for Ridley
Scott?
for Ridley.
Oh shit!
Oh God.
You guys, go for it.
I mean, Martin's already got one up, so I'm going to have to go with Blade Runner,
Yeah, it's my
Gladiator.
Ooh.
I will say all the known fors are
Alien?
producers,
Oh.
but that doesn't mean he
he
didn't
didn't
direct
direct
them.
also.
Got it.
I'm just saying.
All right, so Blade Runner,
That's my cheat.
Alien. Did he? The Martian?
Yeah.
Oh, that was his direct. He directed,
He
The
directed
Martian.
it. He may have produced it as well.
And then I will say Black Hawk Down.
Martin?
I'm gonna go Blade Runner as well. Then Prometheus. I think he did Raised by Wolves, so I'm just gonna. Well, but that wouldn't be a movie.
That's
I don't know if
that's a
it'd be on
show.
there. I know, but it could be on there. No, and then I don't know. I'll stick with Alien and
Go 2048. Or Blade Runner
Blade Runner 2049.
49.
Yeah, I'm going to Blade Runner 2049.
I don't think I know enough Ridley Scott movies off the top of my
Oh
head.
no, you know what I was
beside
going to
Alien
do?
and Blade Runner, so.
The Last Duel.
Okay, it's interesting.
That's my fourth.
I find it interesting that you guys didn't pick what I would consider to be the first thing you should have said. So the four are The Martian,
Okay.
good work. Blade Runner,
Okay.
OG, good work.
Between
Gladiator.
he said it.
He said
I
it.
said Gladiator.
Oh, you did Gladiator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thelma and Louise.
Oh.
I kind of forgot about that.
Producer. I don't know if he's a director.
I think he directed it too.
I'll double
Maybe
check,
not.
but
3
yes,
out of 4.
he
You
did.
bet.
You did pretty
he
good.
did direct. No, you did. And when you said Alien, I knew it was over because that's not on there. So I was like, you weren't going to get all four, but yeah, Alien, Blade Runner.
Gladiator.
That's why I said.
But I'm
Prometheus
looking
instead of
through
Alien.
like things that have like Thelma and Louise were, whatever has its
It's a good
GI
movie.
Jane, Gladiator, Hannibal.
You skipped over White Squall.
I did. Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men. We haven't done Matchstick
I like
Men.
Matchstick Men.
Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, if we do a con man movie, we should. Right?
We have.
Kind of like a.
I got a bunch
We
of
did,
those.
a genre June of con.
We did
Heist.
heists, but not cons.
Oh, okay.
it's
Have you
different
seen
genre.
Confidence?
It's a subgenre.
It's come
Love
up.
Confidence.
Confidence. I
It's
haven't
come
seen it
up
in so
as a
long.
It's come up
potential
for
movie.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should.
American
we should do some
Gangster?
cons.
Body of Lies.
My favorite part in American Gangster is when RZA's talking to Russell Crowe, and you just see RZA sitting there, and there's a giant Wu-Tang tattoo on his shoulder, and it's supposed to take place in like 1970. You're like, yeah, that fits.
Yeah, the Wu-Tang Clan was
just a
active in the
W.
70s.
There ain't nothing to fuck with.
In Chinese cinema.
Yeah,
I
it's-
meid it
it's
was.
old
The
cinema, yeah,
Wu-Tang
old
is
movies.
I found
from
Raised by
old
Wolves,
70s
2
movies,
episodes.
Yeah.
so-
What the hell's Raised by Wolves? I did.
I watched
It's
it.
about an android that finds 2 humans in the wild, right?
They're
Max
raising
original.
humans. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Can't get
kind
away
of
from
good.
The androids, huh?
It was good, but then it got canceled. so it's like-
7.4 out of 10.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Which then just
I
said
was the
all
only one that
stuff.
watched it though, and that's the problem.
I've never heard of anyone in this.
No, there's nobody big, but it was.
No,
it was
there's not.
It was Ridley Scott, and it was aliens and.
I know, but how do you not have
Androids.
a actor
I'm sorry, androids.
and actor that you've heard of?
Well, it was a show. That's
Still, Ridley Scott's doing a show. You got some.
I mean,
Paul?
it's not TV; it's HBO.
you're right. It's HBO.
The Last Duel.
Did you know anybody? Well, yeah, you did. I was going to say it. Game of Thrones. Sean Bean. But other than that, was there anyone?
I knew
big?
Peter Dinklage,
You did? Oh yeah,
Station
yeah,
Elf.
yeah, I did too. But not by much.
and I knew probably not really.
Littlefinger.
The thing with Raised by Wolves
Littlefinger
is there are
for
only
sure.
like
Oh,
four.
yeah.
There are only like
The Wire,
four
right?
characters
Yeah.
in it. So
Yeah,
they-
you didn't know
they-
Daenerys was Jon Snow, but you definitely knew Littlefinger because from The Wire.
Yep.
Yeah.
when you don't know, you're like, does this guy just hang around HBO? And on shows?
Yeah, I think like the other big people you didn't know was like Lena Headey and Nikolai Coulter.
Yeah, I did know.
Yeah.
Oh, Lena Headey
Right.
was in
300.
Terminator.
She was in Terminator show.
the show.
The show,
Sarah
Chronicles.
Chronicles.
Yeah.
She was in 300.
She was in
Yes,
300 also,
300.
yeah.
You will not
Less
enjoy
of a
this.
factor in that. I mean, most people focused, I think, on the abs.
Right.
But yes, I was thinking about that because Ridley definitely. I mean, like you said, Sigourney as well, but Ridley, for a guy who is still making movies,
Right.
Somehow.
So-
And Clint Eastwood.
Are you going to go deep, Brady? Are you going to watch Aliens? I was going to say, if you're not going to watch anything else, yeah, definitely watch Aliens and maybe rewatch Prometheus.
Wait, if I'm not going to, or if
like if you're not going to go,
You're not gonna watch all 8.
of them,
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch all of them.
right?
Right.
So
the
then watch
second one is
Aliens.
I
Yeah.
don't
Aliens.
think I'm going to watch anything else.
You should watch Aliens.
Aliens and
yeah.
Prometheus are decent.
And
I'm almost curious if I watched Prometheus.
You probably-
Like,
I
I
feel like
remember
you
when it
have
came
to.
out. I was very much into Fassbender. I was like, the dude's
right,
a good,
and he's
freaking
really
actor.
good in it.
And Naomi Rapace is
Ooh.
from the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Correct.
So she's in it as well.
Prometheus.
In Prometheus, yeah. And
I
there's
gotta
there's a
rewatch that
pregnancy situation. That's where they stole that from, or that's the Easter egg or whatever
Yeah.
from Romulus.
Well, I,
I mean-
also saw like that all of Sigourney Weaver's hairstyles were in Romulus.
Oh,
They had her shaved head, her like curly wet look, and then
who had the shaved head?
the pilot,
The girl
got
the first girl that
Oh,
got
okay,
killed.
right.
and that chest. So
The one who got face raped.
face raped. The chest burster scene.
Yeah,
I think Romulus was more intense and better, kind of like it looked more graphic than just kind of this what you could do in '79 with the special
Right.
effects,
Right.
Like
So also, I loved the illuminating X-ray
the X-ray thing.
Yeah.
that she used.
Yeah, that
like
was
I
kinda
loved what
cool,
she
right?
did on her arm, and then she grabbed it, and it was like.
Colin
Actually-
knew it. Colin called it before. He's
Yeah.
like, "Use the X-ray thing. Use the X-ray."
And I felt like it was going to be more used. It felt like they got there and then it like kind of was like over. I don't know how you could have done it better, but I thought there was going to be more of that. But
Yeah, because I mean, she showed in. It's like it's just spinning around, and then all of a sudden it's fucking out, and like
Well, it was moving to like out, like it wasn't just like blah. It
Yeah.
was like moving around.
yeah,
but, like it came out slower, and it came out of like like a sack like thing, and then like slowly made its way out. Where in the first one, in the original one, it just like comes out and it like stands there, and it kind of looks
Hello,
around
my baby.
like a,
Hello, my
Yeah,
darling.
exactly.
other than
looks like a sock
wanting to sing
puppet,
that song,
And then it just
I think
runs
that
across
first
the
one's
table and
best
takes
one,
off
because it just
So-
comes out of nowhere.
It
And
does, yeah,
it's so good, and that's the thing. They try to, even again, Colin knew from watching videos or something. He's like, yeah, there's a back burster and a head burster or something like that. I'm like, I don't remember which movies, but he said in one of them there's
Oh,
a back
really?
burster where they came out the backside, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the ribs in the front were too strong. They're like, let's just go through organs in the back.
I just,
Breaking backs.
so in the original Alien, right? It bursts out, it runs away, and then it sheds its skin, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it
it's
gets
growing.
huge
And then it gets
somehow
huge.
without
Yeah.
eating anything. Where does it get its mass from?
Because they didn't show in the first one. They didn't show it like in an egg sac, like or cocoon or whatever,
Right.
like they did in Romulus. It was like
Well, yeah.
it was in its like cocoon, and then it emerged as the big thing.
Right. And then did he? Okay, so when they're in the ship, obviously when they finally go down to like where in either one, like what are the aliens building? Like when they go to like the layers or whatever, and they've like terraformed the walls or whatever.
Yeah.
What are they doing with all that?
That's
Yeah.
just where they put the people.
Yeah, those are all.
And then they
former-
get the face huggers to implant them, and then they make more of themselves.
More of themselves.
Yeah.
How are they building those structures? Are they just spitting it out?
Yeah, I
pooping
think
it? Is
so.
that
Tiny
just
little
poop?
hands.
Right.
No, they have normal size.
Yeah, they have
long
fingers, long
yeah.
fingers.
But
Yeah,
Is it poop?
I think
It's
that's all it
poop,
is.
right?
They're just it's some kind of secreted resin that gets hard. That's what they said. Didn't they say that, or was that
All
in
right.
Aliens? I don't remember in which movie it was now that they said that. But yeah, that's kind of it's like a hive kind of a situation. And
Yeah.
they're just trying to do.
I took it as that's where they put people to. Well, considering they did put people there.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Again, I'm just wanting. I want to know the logistics, the ins and outs. How has this all been done? The mechanics
I
behind
agree.
it.
There's,
Like-
I'll guarantee there's a Reddit.
Well, that's the thing, and there's different people that have different opinions because they don't explicitly say any of it, and obviously these creatures don't exist. So it's like, is it more like a bee? Is there a queen? Is there not a queen? Ridley Scott, I think, doesn't like the whole concept of the queen.
no.
He didn't like it, so he doesn't really use it for the movies that he makes. But I don't know if
But then where
Fed
else
Aid has
would
that
these
the eggs. I think they
things
say
come
that the
from, right?
regular
Like,
just an alien
everyone
can
lays an
make
egg
their
or
own egg.
whatever,
Yeah,
just
to make
like-
their own face huggers.
Make your own eggs.
I don't know, and that's
Can you get,
again,
like,
I'm sure there's somebody that knows the
non,
answer to this.
like like implanted eggs and like cook them for breakfast, like chicken eggs and stuff.
Right, and the face huggers aren't
Like,
fully
yeah.
formed. There's just
Yeah.
the yolk in there,
Right, exactly.
made
Or-
of acid.
Or do the xenomorphs change like frogs in Jurassic Park? They're going to change their sex and they can lay their own eggs.
Life finds a way.
I thought we should call out a good thing, considering we've called out the negative. When Mother or Moo, whatever you want to call
Mother,
it,
Yeah,
yeah,
Mother.
they call it Mother.
states they have 30 minutes until impact. It literally is 30
Is it?
minutes
left.
and we have talked ad nauseum about these movies that put these time constraints on things that don't make any damn sense, and then obviously can't live up to it. It's like they did it, and
Yeah.
so I know they're not like
that's awesome.
alone, but I'm like, it's a good. I like that they took care of that because it should be easy. Put a realistic time frame on and roll with it.
Quarter mile, Fast and Furious,
To
plane
that-
chase.
To that point, I'm glad that they didn't follow that in Alien because I would not have wanted to watch for 25 hours when they said that's how long it was going to take to fix the ship. So,
Can't win them all. but- well, so we asked a question at the beginning, like, and Martin, I think you answered it, but like, there's no real end, right? Like, they as long as someone can keep coming up with different ways, like this director obviously lived with the homages to the earlier movies, but
now he's free within this
Right,
his own universe or
he
his
did
own
his thing.
reboot.
He treated everybody to those. Now he can make his own version and own idea into the alien ether.
And make it more horror and not have to follow all these little Easter eggy type things. Just make a really good alien horror movie. I would love to see that.
Well, and the thing is, like, since, I mean, we've seen it throughout the series anyway, it doesn't matter what time period you want to make one in, right? Like, Prometheus is like, I don't know what time, year, and then Alien, and then 20 years later it's Romulus, and then another.
Prometheus was
37.
2093.
Right. So, like, you just pick a time in the future that you want to make an Alien movie, as long as you got a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And you got
That's what
some
I'm saying, you could
people
go
that
200
find
years
some
and whatever.
face huggers.
I want them to go back to the past.
They've gone as far as
1992,
2381. It looks like.
Why 92?
because that's when Predator 2 takes place.
Oh,
Just
that'd
set
be
it
fun.
back then and have them like on Earth or something like that.
Fucking with Danny Glover.
Right. Danny Glover comes out. I'm still too old for this shit.
In hindsight, without knowing about any of this, I kind of love whoever came with the idea to do Alien versus Predator.
Oh, it's great.
for real.
Yeah.
Like, just I love
They're
that's a-
dumb, but they're fun.
right.
I
It's a
mean,
great idea to like try to do something different with two movie. They're
They're
franchises.
dumb just because they're just fighting the whole time.
Right, that's it.
There's
There's
really
just people
not
there
much story, not much
as a body
anything.
count.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Which one's Walton Goggins in? Or
Probably-
Adrian Brody?
probably the
That's
worst one.
Predators.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen that.
That's
Is that
not the
Adrian
worst
Brody's
one?
in the Robert Rodriguez Predator
No,
movie.
I'm saying that one of the Alien versus Predator. It's like it's not Resurrection, but it's got a Requiem.
Yes.
That one's terrible.
That's right. That's the second one.
AVP
that's-
Requiem.
Is
was
that the one
terrible.
where they find the pyramid under the
No,
ice? Or is
that's
that-
the original.
That's the original?
The original, because I watched the trailer for both of those two.
Okay.
I gotta
Um,
see the Rotten Tomato score. Guess how low it is.
7.
Which one are we talking? I've lost it.
Alien versus
what's the-
Predator 2.
Alien versus Predator Requiem, which is part 2. How low do you think it could go?
8.
Yeah, it's good. 12.
Oh, double digits.
At least they made double digits. I mean,
Goggins
and that's
is-
about right. That's probably generous.
Goggins is in the Predators.
But that's not an Alien.
Yeah.
franchise.
That's not an Alien
Oh, okay.
Predator. That's just the Predator
so I
franchise.
saw that.
That's good.
That's the last Predators?
No.
What? No, or not. I mean, I know there's Prey,
Right.
Which is
Before
the
that
blue
was
one.
the Predator.
the Predator. Okay.
Predators was 2010. It's that old.
Is
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez one with
Yes.
Yeah,
Adrian
I think so.
Brody. or
Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
No, it's
Alice-
directed by Nimrod.
Oh, Nimrod
Oh,
Atal.
maybe
Nimrod and
maybe
Nimrod.
Rodriguez
I
produced
don't know if that's how you
it.
say
Yeah.
his name.
But yeah,
so.
they like fall
We
onto
probably
some
butchered it.
random
Yeah.
planet.
Is it
and-
spelled
But it is
Nimrod?
Topher Grace.
It is.
yeah, is it
Robert Rodriguez presents.
Is it Danny Glover?
Lawrence
Or
Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne. All right.
Alice Braga, Lawrence Fishburne.
I've seen
It's like he's
Walton
living
Goggins.
underground
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, it was
tunnels or
okay.
something.
Yeah, I
It
didn't
was
hate
fine. It was
Danny
good.
Trejo,
Yeah, you gotta love Danny Trejo.
the guy with the swords,
Yeah.
the Yakuza.
That's like the guy with the knives from
Yep,
the
like
original
Billy.
Predator. Yeah.
I think there's more to come. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. They're not
So,
going to let this die. Because this, what they say, this
it did well.
Romulus made.
It knocked off Deadpool, Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh, did it?
Really?
And it was like
That's
the outside of Alien 2, I think, the only one to make over 100 million.
And there's an audience for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would argue they probably all were happy with it. I do actually think it was pretty good. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not a movie I really want to watch again, but
I will probably watch it again, honestly.
I believe you.
I might watch it again, just not right away.
Yeah.
I'll give it some time to breathe. But first of all, we want to thank Tom for this entire month for coming out and hanging with us,
Always happy to be here.
taking us down some roads where we didn't want to go because we were fearing we were going to shit ourselves.
This might be our best month that we've ever done, right?
Yeah.
For you guys,
Shoot.
and you guys, I'm looking at
Well, it's because I didn't
Jelani
pick the
and
movies
Brady.
blindly. Martin had a
Martin's
big
feeling-
hand in this.
Martin's
Let's not give
feeling
me all the
pretty
credit
good
here.
about
I
himself.
feel pretty good. I feel it was curated
Yeah.
pretty well for some,
We'll go back to
new and
my
old.
picks next year. You guys,
shit.
don't worry. Have you guys seen Terrifier 1 through 3 yet?
Yes, let's do it. I have not seen those. I only want
Absolutely
to,
not.
Let's see. Let's watch
Watch
all the
those with-
sequels that are really like Terrifier 2 only, Troll 2,
Oh,
supposed to be the
God.
worst movie ever, which
Why
Brady will
don't
love.
you guys want to watch good movies?
Make sure you watch Terrifier
Because
with the
they're-
big windows open.
because you like
Culty.
horror.
I like culty horrors.
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 Honestly, at least let there be horrors.
Well, what year are we going back to? Because we can make that happen.
There's nothing from the 70s. He doesn't want. It was the Evil Dead
That's
that really.
too real.
That
of
was
horrors.
the Evil Dead was what did Brady and
Do Last House on the Left.
the original.
Yeah,
Next
I can't
month-
watch that one again. It's too rapey.
Next time,
Yeah, it's bad. I've seen
next year, 2025, it's Jelani and I picked the horror
it.
movie.
You guys can. Yeah, you guys can. It'll be pretty nice and dull.
We'll throw some horror comedies in there.
Scooby Doo's Halloween.
Yeah,
There you
right.
go. Nightmare
nice-
Before Christmas.
Nice and dull, as opposed to Martin excitedly picking bad movies.
Yeah, I love
Hey,
bad movies.
I mean,
Bad-
yeah,
bad
to a
good.
degree. The Room, not so much.
Yeah,
Troll 2,
that's my
I've already seen it.
I haven't
but it's
seen
been
Troll
a while.
2.
Oh no,
but I've
I watched them
heard.
both, and I actually just so I have like on TikTok a random like We Love the '90s channel that I
Uh-huh.
just post random video clips on, and I just posted a clip from Trolls 2.
Was it the one?
the other day.
They're eating her.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yes, it was that exactly.
See, I don't
No,
even
they're
see the
gonna
movie, but I
eat
know-
me.
yeah. Just really bad
so
acting.
Bad.
Cool.
It's so bad. Get excited, guys. Get excited.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
It's at the
I just
countdown.
don't have it in me to like wish people that I know to watch.
I just want to. I think we should watch them together. Is what
Yeah.
it has to be. We have. To,
I think, yeah, and we
have
should
to
do a
come over.
live one where
We'll
we
watch right over there.
record like
yeah, 4
Mystery Science Theater.
Mystery Science Theater.
We
style.
tried that
right
one
here.
time
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd it work?
We did for one of
for
the
Fast Five.
Fast.
He was. Oh no,
No.
Fast 5. He came.
I
He
saw-
went to the theater with us to watch Fast 10.
Yes, we all did
that
Fast
10?
10.
But yes, we did do Fast 5.
Tried to do it live, and it was hard because it was like you can't hear what we're watching or what we're reacting
Oh,
to. So it's
okay.
kind of like it's weird. It's a
Okay.
weird audio.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Really, the play is to watch the movie and then just record right afterwards.
Right.
What I'm
away.
saying is, it's just
Yeah.
it's no fun to watch a bad movie by yourself. You have to watch it with
Yeah.
other people.
I reckon
That's the
it's
only
no
way
fun
it's
to
fun.
watch a bad movie.
That's the
Just
see,
stop
but
there.
I'm telling you,
No.
you guys haven't done. You
It
haven't
depends
done
what
it
kind
with,
of
with a group.
bad,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Like-
Depends what kind of bad. I mean, all these people can't be wrong. That
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
not that many people.
there really are. There's a reason why people.
And by the way, I
they
think
get
if we've
played.
learned anything, it's that a lot of people can be wrong.
Yes, I mean, yes, for some movies, for sure, but
and other things
and
too.
things in general.
Just in life.
yeah, half the population. In a couple of weeks, we'll
Sometimes.
find out.
As always, we simply cannot wait for Evolution anymore. We also cannot wait for you to subscribe to the pod wherever you listen. So leave a review, Thanks, and save it for the pod. Too many hands.
A lot of hands.
Too many pods.
Too many hands.